4 kids. Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No. So I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals. And I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like, it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
Folks, you ever notice being a good man just don't mean much anymore nowadays? It's like no matter what a man does, he provides, he protects, he stays faithful. He can still feel like a woman is chasing something. It's like they never satisfied. And they be chasing the type of men they claim they hate. See, my grandmother used to say, it's almost like they want to know what it's like to be with a bad boy. And my grandma used to say, women who love bad boys are bad people themselves. They don't want to hear that, though. They don't want to hear that. She called the bad boy phase the dumb girl phase. Now, that doesn't mean she can't change, but when she was attracted to that bad boy, that means if she was a man, she would have been doing the same dumb shit he's doing. They just making excuses for dumb, bad behavior. It's like the parents who make excuse for their little Johnny. Oh, he's just hanging around the wrong crowd. You ever think maybe little Johnny is the bad crowd?
You know what I've noticed about women's fantasies, like when it comes to romance? Their ideal sense of romance is literally just cheating.
You know, the funny thing is, I didn't think this was true. I was like, man, he's just cherry picking examples. And then I did some research and he is 100% correct. Like, think about all the most popular romance movies ever. Sleepless in Seattle, cheating. You've Got Mail, cheating. Cheating, 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 and some underage bullshit. International cheating. Oh my God, so much cheating. Cheating, but with good music. Cheating, but with comedy. Rich people cheating. Cheating down under. Old people cheating, and cheating plus music. Like, it is undeniably true. Every fucking successful romantic movie in like the last 4 decades has just had cheating. That's the women's fantasy. They get with a man, the movie convinces you that man is not good, and then they fucking cheat on him. They cheat on him with the hero of the story. And they're not even subtle about it. The movie is just like, hey, you're with this guy, go cheat on him so we can have a love story. And women are just like, oh my God, isn't it so romantic? No, you know what would have been romantic? Leaving the guy you're with and then dating the hero. Ladies, what the fuck?
Now, folks, tell me they're lying. Tell me they're lying. One of the biggest mistakes we've made in society, our community, is not understanding how powerful the media is. Okay? Think about it. When I was running the streets, I used to ask a woman 3 questions. That was many, many years ago. First question, where is your daddy? Okay. Second question, what type of media do you consume? And the third question is, what do you want out of life? And from those 3 questions, it would tell me all I needed to know. It would tell me my next move. It would. And it's amazing how so many women, especially young women, today, they can have a great man, a good man, and still feel like something's missing. They equate excitement with instability. They do. That's how women end up disrespecting good men.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely. I was in a lot of pain.
Now that clip right there, folks, that's a historic moment. But it perfectly illustrates how people will justify their bad behavior. They can make excuses for anything. Just like a lot of women making excuses for Ayesha Curry and her feelings. And I get it. But why would you do some of the things you're doing?
Pain.
Something that really bothers me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves,
But me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're
Like,
not looking.
what,
You're not
like,
looking.
because I don't want it, but it'd be nice to know that like someone's looking.
Now, you see how Steph's mother even tried to save her gracefully? But right then and there, his mother knew something ain't right. Something is wrong. His mama shouldn't even try to save her like that. She should have been saying, what the hell is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You don't need no damn male attention. You got a husband. But people will make excuses for this, and I get why. I understand it. But his mama probably didn't say anything because his mama got her own issues in her own marriage. But that's why a lot of these women don't want to judge each other. But like they say, single women keep women single. They need to add another one to that. Toxic women create more toxic women. Now listen to this young woman on TikTok who heard Ayesha say that she didn't want to be married. She heard that clip. Listen to this.
Ayesha Curry is a perfect example of why it is so important to have a hoe phase. Go be a hoe. Be a hoe. But be a safe hoe though. Like protect yourself and don't get pregnant. That's why she's sitting over there feeling trapped. Trapped with Steph Curry.
There is a certain mentality out there that some women have, especially these young women with this whole phase and these boss babes. Okay, it's the mentality they pushed on our young women just like they pushed the thug mentality on our young men. It is sad. This young sister saying Ayesha needed a whole phase doesn't realize that if Ayesha had a whole phase, she would have never married Steph. Okay, she would have ended up with Pookie or Ray Ray or Willie Poo Poo. They don't get that. What she's really saying is Ayesha should have chased dysfunction before she settled down. And then she would have been a very dysfunctional, far worse than she is right now. Okay, and I know a lot of women agree with this. And they feel Ayesha should have the right to say whatever she want to say. And I get it. She should. But this is not about shut up and get back in the kitchen, women. It's not. This is about understanding how easy it is to disrespect a man in public, especially when you're in a high-profile relationship. But Ayesha is not the only one in a high-profile relationship as a black person who disrespects her man.
People think I'm being catty by saying this. It's like there were 10 years when I couldn't stand my husband. You know?
do say that. You
10 long years. And guess when it happened? When those kids were little.
This just shows you how much the media for years catered to women, from all the talk shows, from everything, all the TV shows, all the movies. They catered to women that so many of them became entitled. Does Michelle realize that in those 10 years, maybe Obama didn't like you? You don't realize that? But he didn't come out and say nothing like that because he's a grown-ass man. He understands the bigger picture. You're not perfect. And I know you're first lady and you carried yourself well when you was in office, so I don't want to be disrespectful. But it's crazy how they publicly disrespecting their man. And you'll see at the end of this video why you should never disrespect your man publicly. Okay? You should never do that.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah. Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
Ooh, no, I would have felt for him.
And that's the ultimate disrespect right there. What would have been wrong with a little Barack Obama? Just come out and tell us something we don't know. Is he a bad man? What's wrong with that? This is a woman who want to compete with her husband. The man became the president of the United States. And I believe Michelle Obama could run for president. But come on, you can't do your man like this. This man became the first black president of the United States. It's not like he ended up in prison, a statistic. I can see if he ended up a statistic. This man went to Harvard. What the fuck? This man went to fucking Harvard. Okay, became a senator. Became the president of the United States, and his own wife is saying, I wouldn't want another one. Do you understand just how low, good Lordy. Go to therapy. This stuff Be in private. Go to therapy. Or is it just some of them can't keep things to themselves? They have to tell the world, good or bad, what's going on in their relationship. And Ayesha admits to this.
I do not have a bone in my body that can keep anything to myself. So if it comes to mind, it's coming out. And he's so gracious. Like, he tries to resonate with me, but he just can't. And he also comes from a place of like, it's effing stupid. Like, it's not true. So why are you? And I'm like, but wait, like, listen to how it makes me feel. And he's like, but why does it make you feel like that? It's not real.
Why can't you just let the man be himself? They don't care about disrespecting their husband. They don't. Look at Ayesha in this next clip. She see a man without a shirt, and all of a sudden she want to act like on TV that she's pulling off her ring. That says something about her. Watch the picture at the end.
Oh, all right, Ayesha. I think it's time for a drink. What do you say? Absolutely. Yes, we get to drink. Marcel? Marcel?
Now, Steph have to see this. It's so disrespectful. And women don't think it's disrespectful. They do not understand. That's disrespectful. If Steph did that, holy my God. Man, they would probably try to kick him out the league. Come on. Women today do not understand just how disrespectful that is. I mean, some women do. Okay, it's very important. It is very important. This is one reason why my mother was very toxic. She dated men who she fought with. She dated drug dealers. I didn't let my daughters around my mother. I didn't want that toxicity. I broke the curse. Both my daughters are married to good men. I didn't want them being around a woman who still in her 50s and 60s and see a thug and still talk about certain things. I didn't want that around my daughters and my mama became very bitter. And that independent spirit in her, she ended up having no respect for men, which is fine. You can have that. But why you got to tell the whole world? I didn't want my daughters around that mentality, folks. Okay? And I don't understand why a lot of women, these women publicly, are disrespecting their men. Maybe they don't understand how they're disrespecting their men.
Black woman is the only woman in America who goes out publicly and talks about her man.
And this is sad, folks, and this is scary. Okay, this is scary. I'm going to tell you a story. When I was back in high school, I lived with my grandparents because of all the drama and stuff for a year. One day I got up to leave for school, and I forgot something in the house. And I came back in the house, and I seen my grandmother with her finger in my grandfather's face, yelling at him. They were just arguing. But as soon as my grandmother seen me, she stopped. Oh, Junior, oh. She stopped and turned, and she just smiled like nothing was going on, right? So I grabbed my stuff I forgot, and I went on to school. But I never forgot about that. And like years later, one time, me and my grandma was getting our little, and I asked her about that day. Because that's the only time I've ever seen my grandmother disrespecting my grandfather. And I asked her, I never seen you and Grandpa argue out loud like that. I seen y'all knick-knack at each other, but I never, And she said to me, Sonny, I had 4 boys, 4 girls. She had 8 kids to raise. If I didn't show respect to your grandfather, the kids wouldn't have showed him respect. They needed to see that I honored their father. They needed to see that. And I knew my boys was going to be big. I wasn't going to be the one disciplining them. Your grandfather had to do that. And you, when you lived with us, I wanted them to see their father was strong at all times. If your grandfather is disrespectful to me in public, the world would discipline him. They'll call him abusive. He'll get labeled this, he'll get labeled that. But if I disrespected your grandfather in public, They would still blame your grandfather. They would call him a weak man. What did he do to deserve that? But more importantly, other men would see our house is weak. Our whole family could be harmed just by me showing that my husband is not that strong.
Were there certain characteristics that you looked for in children before molesting them?
In children, yes, but more I also looked at their families. If I thought the father was a threat, I would not approach the child.
See, I'm very lucky. My daughters are married to good men, but I always told them, if me and your husband got in a fight, you better take your husband's side. Because disrespecting your man in public is the most dangerous thing you can do in life. It is very dangerous. See, women do not understand just how evil other men are. Y'all think men treat you bad? You need to understand how men treat each other. Go look in the history books. And a lot of this is all based on respect and disrespect. Y'all don't think anything of this picture right here. I know it. But once you make your husband look weak, the world will start believing he is. And once they believe y'all weak, you see what this man said? You see what that serial killer said? He would look to see what the father was up to. This is why you need a strong male figure in the house. Back in the day, let me tell y'all something right now. I'm not going to go into details, but I was on some political hardcore shit in Northern California. Real hardcore. And we would go get people in the streets. We would go get the people in the streets. That's all I'm going to say. But how we would judge who we was going to go get, we would look and see how masculine his woman was. If his woman was very masculine, we knew he wasn't.